Folks, thank you for joining the webinar. Today we'll be speaking about Quadrant's research on in-app protection market. They did extensive research, looked at over 20 vendors to attempt and highlight how these vendors are doing, how are they innovating, and how are they solving problems in various industries and markets. Before that, I would like to introduce my partner in crime today, Divya Baranawal. Hi, Divya. How are you doing?
Hi, Krishna. Thanks for having me today.
No problem. Divya, why don't you just take a few seconds and introduce yourself, and we get going.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. So I am Research Director at Quadrant Solutions, and I've been involved extensively in researching an in-app protection solution. I take care of information security and have been working extensively on various domains in the information security and fraud. So very glad and excited to be here with Krishna today and speaking about a recent research on in-app protection.
Thank you, Divya. And folks, my name is Krishna Vishnavatla. I run products for app security at Zimperium, and looking forward to the conversation, Divya. So let's get going. Before we start the conversation, folks, just a few housekeeping items. It's about a 30-minute conversation, so it'll go really fast. If you hear something and if you have a question, please post it in the Q&A using the Q&A function. We will take the last 5 minutes of the webinar and kind of try to answer as many questions as possible. If there isn't something we can answer and requires us to go back and look at a few things, then we promise we will get back to your question. Okay. Divya, with that, this whole conversation really stemmed from the fact that, there's a lot of interest in the in-app market in the last 12 to 14 months, right? As you and I were talking about. And that resulted in you focus putting out a market research paper, going out, looking at the top 20 vendors. And these vendors are, names all of us have heard in the industry, and saying, where do all these guys play? What type of problems are they solving, and what are their strengths, right? Where do they really excel? And based on this report, what we thought today was, I wanted Divya to kind of talk about what do they see as part of the research? What are the trends that they see? What differentiates these vendors from each other? How did they evaluate these vendors, and why did Zimperium stand out, right? Because this will help other prospects and other companies decide, are we a good fit for them? What type of vendors to look at depending upon the problem they're trying to solve. Divya, with that, why don't you tell us a little bit about the trends that you found during your research?
Absolutely. Thank you, Krishna. So, Krishna, like you mentioned, we have recently completed a research on in-app protection. And in that, we covered and talked with all the major global vendors offering in-app protection solution. So we observed these major market adoption and technology trends that we believe is shaping up the landscape. So the first and foremost is the increased usage of mobile and IoT devices. Now, the massive increase in the usage of mobile devices is making organizations adopt a mobile-first approach. So enterprises are aggressively adopting mobile applications due to various benefits like flexibility, ease of operations, and enhanced customer experience. But the increase of these mobile apps is also increasing the attack surface, right? So today, some of the mobile threats faced by modern enterprises include repackaging, malware, script injection, cryptojacking, SMS grabbing, and many such others. Apart from this, the remote work culture and online shopping trends, which have been aggravated by the COVID-19 pandemic, and also the differing levels of security offered by various software environments is actually serving as entry point for threat actors to access sensitive information through unsecured mobile devices. And because of this, organizations are realizing the need for robust application security capabilities. Therefore, organizations are increasingly adopting in-app protection tools to run applications even in untrusted environments. The second trend here is the increased adoption of cloud-based resources and applications. Now, we all know that because of the numerous benefits that cloud offers, enterprises are adopting cloud-based resources and applications. So they're looking forward to be cost effective, upgrade their operational efficiency, and also be competitive. However, the increased usage of cloud-based applications many times endanger security, right? Because the complete reliance that organizations are having on third-party security controls and resilience, right? So this whole thing is driving the adoption of in-app protection solution. Um, because it promises that it secures both on-prem as well as cloud-based applications against cyber threats. Then moving ahead, we go to the growing use of APIs. Now, we all know that mobile apps are heavily using APIs so that they can interact with backend services and also for sharing of data and information. Because of this, it's extremely essential to ensure API security. Now, the in-app protection solution ensures that only safe mobile apps can call APIs. So any kind of botnets, malicious scripts, or tampered or fake apps are completely blocked. Also, in-app protection tools allows developers to integrate high level of security measures, such as implementing strong authentication techniques combined with limited rate of access in their APIs, which can prevent hackers from harvesting data from API servers. Now, the growing adoption of in-app protection solutions is also driven by the growing complexity of global regulatory landscape. So the numerous compliance frameworks such as NIST, FISMA, HIPAA, PCI, and others are significantly impacting the overall enterprise security strategy across verticals and across regions. Then there is emergence of strict data privacy regulations such as GDPR and CCPA, which is further enforcing organizations to account for all the sensitive data and access that is granted to it. Whereas we can say that compliance with regulation improves organization security posture, a non-compliance can result in high risk of information theft, fines, negative publicity, and much more. Uh, since these applications store and process sensitive data like credentials of the users and PII data, which can then be phished from vulnerable mobile devices. Hence, in-app protection solution helps organizations to meet the stringent global compliance requirements and also avoid and prevent security breaches. Now, moving to the last point on the slide, which is the growing frequency, sophistication, and complexity of cyber attacks. Now, the attackers are getting very smart, right? They're using advanced techniques. They're launching AI ML based attacks. They're using bot attacks. And we hear so many new forms of attacks getting launched every single day. So, in order to protect the applications and data, organizations are choosing advanced specialized solutions like in-app protection solutions, which ensures that security is ingrained in the applications. So, Krishna, I think driven by all these factors, we believe that in-app protection solutions are getting a lot of traction in the market. And in the years to come, Quadrant really believes that these solutions will grow even further in terms of market share, in terms of traction, in terms of adoption. And we see that organizations are constantly looking for vendors who can offer comprehensive capabilities which can protect their public and internal applications from various kind of attacks.
Yeah, and Divya, it's interesting also, right? For us, it's when we talk to a lot of companies that build mobile apps, they want to deliver personalized experience, but that requires you to ask for a lot of data in the app, right? You want to know your audience, and it's this cycle where They want more data to give you a better experience, but then you get dragged into regulatory requirements because you're capturing PII and so on. So I think even application teams we see are now facing the fact that, oh, just because we want to build a cool app doesn't mean it's going to be easy, right? That it comes with a lot more stringent privacy security guidelines because we're asking for so much of data. And I don't see that slowing down. I'm with you on that. Some of these things. So why don't you take a minute to talk about some of these key trends?
Absolutely, Krishna. So, from our research, when we talked to all the various vendors and the end users, we identified a few key technology trends in the in-app protection market. So, what we analyzed is that the in-app protection vendors, they are continuously strengthening their value proposition by significantly investing in enhancing their capabilities. So, be it by providing new prevention methods or by offering integrated solutions and providing holistic application security portfolio. So we found that there are many in-app protection vendors which are focusing on providing new prevention methods for applications through code level security. Vendors are implementing automated defenses for suspicious activities, which include app shutdown, user sandboxing, or code self-repair. And they are also trying to interfere the threat actors by disguising source code, inserting honeypots, and implementing deceptive code patterns. On the other end, many leading in-app protection providers are focusing on offering integrated solutions. They are offering WAF, bot management capabilities, API security, L7 DDoS, etc., for providing a holistic application security portfolio. So vendors are also focusing on enhancing their application security capabilities through continuous app monitoring, threat research on new attack patterns, and developing robust defenses. Also, another thing, Krishna, we found out that leading in-app protection vendors are augmenting their solution capabilities with the use of artificial intelligence and machine learning so that they can analyze application behavior and automate the detection and remediation process, and thus promising a robust protection from cyber threats.
Yeah, no, makes sense. And it's interesting, all vendors, including us, right? I think machine learning is a key piece of this, right? Even to provide security, we're looking at so many different elements of information, right? Especially when it comes to apps. When we look at an app, you have code, you have APIs, you have resources. So machine learning definitely playing a large role within even our security and how we look at malware, how do we find malware, and so on. I know you guys have looked at over 20 vendors from the report. One of the things I did want you to touch on is some differentiating features, right? Because AI and ML clearly one of them. But why don't you just quickly touch on, these 4 buckets that you guys have laid out, where you see where things really start separating these guys out?
Absolutely, Krishna. So while we were, researching on all the vendors, analyzing them, we realized that the leading vendors do differentiate themselves on the base of, these 4 major parameters. So the first one here that I'm going to talk about is the sophistication of technology capabilities. Now, the in-app protection solution should offer end-to-end capabilities so that they can protect mobile apps throughout their entire life cycle. This is a very important feature. Now, they should also enable protection against various advanced threats such as malware, code injection, screen scraping, application cloning, and reverse engineering. Also, there are multiple vendors who are differing in their support for a wide range of authentication options, such as behavioral biometrics, OTP, facial recognition, fingerprint authentication, e-signatures, and such others. Also, many vendors are providing sophisticated mobile app shielding technology. So all that is covered under sophistication of technology capabilities. Now, the second one is the current maturity of AI and ML is a very important differentiator. Now, Krishna, we all know that artificial intelligence and machine learning are still in the emerging stage, and a lot
Absolutely.
of innovation,
Yeah.
is still happening around these technologies. So, we believe that end user must carefully look into vendors' current maturity and its roadmap on how they are planning to incorporate the innovation that's happening around AI and ML. And hence the in-app protection vendors capability and plans to provide embedded AI and machine learning capabilities may differ significantly. So we see that many leading vendors are using ML to enable advanced network analytics, user analytics, and threat intelligence, which can automate the mitigation process and in turn improve the effectiveness of the application protection. Hence, we at Quadrant Solution advises that users should look at vendors offering AIML for detecting threat patterns, for comprehensive risk analysis, and responding to threats in real time. Now, moving ahead on the third differentiator, which is about scalability. Now, it's very obvious that an in-app protection solution must provide protection even during traffic surges, so they can ensure a 24 cross 7 availability, right? Also, the in-app protection solution must be capable of protecting any type of applications. So, be it mobile apps, desktop apps, web apps, app for connected devices. The solution should also support, API security and security of serverless applications, and it should also be able to scale with the business requirements and provide continuous protection against the increasing frequency and magnitude of threats. So it is advisable that users should look for in-app protection vendors who has history of successful large-scale deployments and should carefully analyze existing case studies of those deployments. Now, moving on to the last point here, which is about integration and interoperability. So, needless to say that there has to be seamless integration and interoperability with vendors' existing technologies, because it is a very crucial factor which is ultimately impacting technology deployment and also the ownership experience for customers. Also, in-app protection platform should offer fully automated integration with users' application development CI/CD tools, so that they can provide a very comprehensive protection to application throughout their entire life cycle. Then users should look for vendors who are providing integration with backend security platforms, including key API gateways, cloud native API gateways, WAF, and other complementary solutions. Lastly, vendor should also provide simple integration with Android and iOS platforms, as well as any other cross-platform development environment. And they should also provide common authorization techniques which can be used for both web and mobile API channels.
Yeah, and even our experience, Divya, and this is really great because when we talk to customers, right, what we see happening all the time is one, this market is fragmented, right? Which is why your point about end to end makes so much sense because when we talk to customers, they have obfuscation from one vendor, they're trying to do runtime from one vendor, scanning is from someone else, and these siloed products don't really talk to each other, right? Because the vendors behind them have no incentive to share that information, right? And now when you really take in-app protection seriously, these kind of things are coming into play because you want to be able to see across the board, across your application lifecycle. The other thing I would recommend everyone listening to this is, especially when you hear AI and ML, and I think is one of the most overused terms right now. Like Divya said, please do find out how mature they are, right? We see this when we talk to prospects and we are compared against other vendors. We take the time to explain to them is what is the research that we're doing on the AI and ML side, right? And how does that funnel into the product? Why does this make sense? The areas where we're investing. The last one I'll highlight on is scalability. we have seen in the last 12 months, a lot of prospects have bought, point solutions such as scanning solutions and haven't used them because they have the latest features, but they're impractical, right? So that's the other thing we always encourage companies to look at is you might have invested in a solution, but are you really using it how it's supposed to? If not, then that's something you should look into, because we're seeing a lot of that, right? We tend to buy, the best of everything, and then when you put it into your environment, it might not be fully practical for how you develop your velocity and so on and so forth. So no, thank you. These are great buckets. Just in the interest of time, Divya, right? I'm going to move and just talk about, why don't you just spend a few seconds on what stood out and why has Zimperium placed as a leader here?
Absolutely. Krishna, we analyzed all the global vendors, and we analyzed them on their technology excellence and customer impact parameter. And in that, Zimperium, clearly stood out as a leader, right? So, according to Quadrant, why Zimperium stood out is because it has a very unique centralized platform, which maps, of course, which provides end-to-end protection for mobile apps, from the development to deployment. Zimperium has various modules that protect application from various type of threats. It offers all the advanced capabilities, be it app scanning, app shielding, runtime protection, and protection of sensitive cryptographic keys through its platform. And finally, what we believe is that Maps, why Maps is doing great is because it provides an integrated threat management dashboard that offers real-time threat visibility and is enabling users to respond to emerging threats and attacks.
No, thank you, Divya, right? And folks, this in a large part of what I'll take for the next couple of minutes in the webinar, I do want to spend some time, like Divya mentioned, right? There are certain things that we have done in Zimperium that has allowed us to excel in these areas. And like Divya pointed out, the 4 buckets that she talked about are extremely crucial for in-app protection to actually be effective and practical, right? And at Zimperium, our approach to application security, as you see on your screen, has been, well, the customer or our prospect is trying to address risks that emerge out of adopting mobile applications, right? And Divya, you rightly pointed out, first we started out just thinking mobile, but now we're looking at cross-platform, right? We've moved, there's native apps, there is hybrid apps. We want these apps to work everywhere, and it's going to go in that direction. And our approach at Zimperium has been, you have to secure your app during development and once you publish your app. And the reason we separate these 2 buckets is because they are different types of things to address when you're developing an app, right? You have to write good code. You have to write compliant code, right? You have to make sure you're not violating PCI, OWASP, and other regulatory things that Divya mentioned. But once you publish the app runs on devices that you have no control over, right? So anyone can download your app, try to open it up, try to steal keys from it, try to steal your code, try to mimic your data, insert malicious code. There are so many ways it can be exploited on device. And our approach to in-app security has been, if you truly want to be secure, you have to address both these things. So when you take this kind of an approach, and when we talk to customers about it, what they're telling us is, we want to scan our apps. Depending on what we find, we want to choose what protections we want to put in the app. And then finally, we want to monitor to see if anyone's trying to attempt to compromise the app. And they want all of this in one platform, right? So truly, from the customer's perspective, it makes sense for us to build a single platform that allows you this end-to-end visibility and protection in one place. And that's really the motivation behind Zimperium's Maps platform. And security, as you rightly pointed out, is not you can't do it just at one place in your application lifecycle, right? It has to be at every part of it, right? So if you just look at an overall lifecycle, from planning to operating it, there's so many different phases with development, security, testing, compliance groups getting involved. The platform offers a little bit for everybody, right? Developers always ask us, we want to get features out as fast as possible. That is what we get paid, and that is what we're incentivized to do. So how do we help them protect the most important threats, right? So we have Z-Defend that helps them understand, hey, this is what I need to worry about based on what my app is, what kind of data it holds, and so on and so forth. So threat modeling is something they get. Scanning, right? Most developers are not security experts, right? So we have Zscan, which helps them identify what are causing a problem from a security and privacy perspective. And here's the code that you wrote that is causing the problem so that they can very quickly fix it. And then testing teams can use the same thing to say, well, did you fix it or no? And then developers and application teams spend a lot of time building apps, and they don't want someone to abuse their app, right? So Z-Shield kind of goes in and protects their code, their data in the app, anything embedded in an application. And then you have Z-Defend. Now, Z-Defend is essentially, well, once you publish your app, the big question everybody has is, do we really know if someone's trying to abuse the app, right? And this is an area that we find most customers do not have a good answer for, right? And it's really not their fault. They are trying to solve other problems first. This comes later on in the maturity, but that's something we provide, right? The ability to see if anyone's trying to abuse your app, whether it's on an end user device or if it's someone's trying to abuse it on their own infrastructure, right? So the ability to map and integrate security across the board has been one of our strengths, and that's what customers really want, right? So what makes us unique? As you pointed out, Divya, right? There are a lot of vendors in this space, and if you look at their websites and their collateral, a lot of us sound the same, right? And that's gotten worse. But one of the things that has helped us stand out is really this notion of one platform. Customers more and more do not want to deal with 4 different vendors, with 4 different products that don't really integrate with each other, right? They would like to see all their risks in one place, what protections they applied in one place, and all the monitoring data, right? In my app getting abused, is it running on risky devices? All that in one place. So the idea of a single comprehensive platform is very attractive, right? It's also very easy, right? In today's markets, I think developers would like some security kind of to be easy so that they can focus on what they do, right? AppSec guys want the same thing. They just want to know that the rules that they've laid in place are being followed by development. And then we have privacy and compliance groups telling us, we would like an audit report or something that says, based on the data this app consumes and its classification, that they're doing the right things. So all of these guys are interested in securing the app, making the app compliant, and they want it as in one platform. So centralizing this is great. And then you mentioned something else, which is end-to-end, right?
Absolutely.
That becomes part of this because you have to scan, you have to protect, you're going to monitor, and then it's a cycle, right? You're going to learn that you have not protected for certain things, and you're going to come back and protect them. So having all these capabilities becomes important. Multi-platform. This is a question we get asked all the time. As people move to mobile, they might have started at Android, iOS, but then they've come from web. They want to protect web. They have desktop applications. And with the M1 chip and Windows 11 moving towards Mac and Android, iOS and Android, they constantly ask us, hey, can you protect apps on all these multiple platforms, right? And our answer is yes. Then they go further out and say, we're all moving towards IoT, right? Can you do that? And IoT obviously poses a different challenge, because the applications that run on IoT have such small footprints and very high demands on performance. And we do that as well. So for them, they see this platform that provides a wide range of support for the platforms they're invested in. And that's very attractive to them. They like it that, we don't bloat the app 50 times when you put the protection in, right? Because that takes away from user experience. So they like the small footprint, they love the high performance. And those are the things that allow us to kind of participate in these industries and solve these problems. I mean, think about it. Everyone's migrating to the cloud, right? But then the question becomes, how do I protect my keys? Do I really need to give it to an Amazon, a Google? Can I trust them with my keys? And we have a solution for it with our key technology, and wallets and so on. So a lot of things lend themselves because of what we do and how well we do it. Now, I'm going to stop here and let people see if they have some questions. Let me just, sorry. Let me just go back, just check if anybody has any questions. I don't see anything. Divya, let me ask you a question. We have a few more minutes. In your research about in-app protection, are there 2 or 3 things that you were surprised to see across the board when you did your research? I mean, what surprised you the most?
Well, yeah. I mean, Krishna, first of all, we have been covering mobile, threat defense for multiple years now. But in the last 12 to 14 months, we received constant requests from end users to cover the in-app protection market. So we believe it is because of the changing dynamics, maybe the remote work culture, maybe the COVID, a lot of things, online shopping behavior. So multiple things, changed the market, and therefore organizations were actually taking in-app protection seriously. And this is because we believe that this is the right time to publish this research. And in this research, we found that customers, because we did talk to end users as well, and we see that they are putting a lot of emphasis on simple things like easy to use, simple things like a centralized platform, which is easy for them to operate, which gives them a lot of flexibility, be able to support any type of applications, be able to run in any environment. So we see that these simple things matter a lot. Although vendors do talk about AI, ML, and of course, how they're progressing, the benefits is huge. But I think that from customers' point of view, what makes a difference is really these small, simple things, that makes them delighted.
Thank you. Folks, I hope you enjoyed that conversation. Again, please feel free, if you have questions, to reach out to Divya and I. We're both very active on LinkedIn. You can search for us. I don't see any questions right now, but if you do have anything, please reach out to either of us. If you have a question regarding Zimperium, something specific that interests you, please reach out at info@zimperium.com, or you can look at our website and contact us. With that, we've come to the end of the webinar. Divya, thank you so much for spending the time to chat about your research. We look forward to partnering together again.
Thanks, Krishna. It was really great.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.